Hi, I wanna today to discuss Egypt and Egyptian people from the point of view of Russian person. I am Russian and I came to the Egypt. Right now I am at the hotel Makadi Bay, Tia Heights. And who is Egyptians to me? How I see this nationality? It's funny that Egypt, it's very touristic country, so a lot of people here they know Russian language, by the way, because for Russian people Egypt it's one of the most popular resort. So a lot of Russian people go to Egypt because it's cheap, because it's tasty and good weather, and this is very beautiful sea. So a lot of places there where Russians could understand Egyptians. In general, actually, Russians, they are very similar to Egyptians by their mentality. I mean, in Russia, when Russians were not really good organized, we are not really organized. I mean, we could be late. We are quite lazy sometimes, and Egyptians too. But I think Egyptians, it's because it's very hot there. I mean, at the summer it could be like 50 degrees, and even right now it's February, beginning of February, and right now it's 25. And under the sun it will be like more than 30, I think. A bit windy. So in Russia we have very cold winter, which means that a lot of Russians, they sit at home and just sit at the pechka. They sit at the fireplace. And Egyptians, they have opposite thing, but kinda it's influenced their mentality the same way. They have very hot summer, which means that they are very lazy, as we are too in Russia. So sometimes the Egyptians, what's different about Russians and Egyptians, that Egyptians, they are not really fast. I mean, they do not haste anywhere, while Russians, we, for example, in big cities, in Moscow, we are very hasty. We are running somewhere. We always try to. I'm trying to get away from штукенцы, so we wouldn't interfere with our voice. Бась, иди в другую сторону, а? So we wouldn't interfere with our voices. So we are Russians were very hasty in big cities especially, and Egyptians, you wouldn't say they are slow, but they do not haste anywhere, and it's kind of big advantage of their mentality, I think, that they are more happy in this thing. They are less, it's my point of view, my opinion. In general, they are less stress less applied to them, so they have less stress because of their view of the life. At the same time, it could be a bit irritating sometimes if you are a tourist and you came there and you want to see everything, you want to get to all places, and you hasty. When I just came to Egypt, I started to go from one place to another, and these Egyptian people, they said, "Oh, do not haste, be calm," because all people who come to Egypt, they kind of act here like they act in normal place. They are very hasty, while in Egypt, after some days, you become also quite calm person. So I think it's most important factor of this behavior is temperature, because it's very hot here, even at winter. It's quite hot. So next thing about Egyptians, actually it's not only Egyptians, it's all people who work in touristic area. They want to scam you. So in Russia it's the same thing. I mean, a lot of when you go to Arbat street, locals, they will try to overcharge foreigner. And here it's the same, but if in Russia we have not big tourist area, not much people, they work these schemes. But in Egypt it's kind of national thing, because Egypt is touristic country. Everything here is based on tourists. So that's why you should be careful. It's not really kind of forced. You could always say no and just ignore. But if you will try to be polite, Egyptians, they could get advantage over you and extra charge you for nothing, or just extra charge you for something, but then three times you will overpay in 3 times. So yeah, this is part of their mentality already, because tourist business, it's their economy, it's what they do daily. In Russia we have a lot of area of economy, and we have very small tourist area, and people who work there, they also do the same thing. It's how it works everywhere in the world. But here it's whole country work in tourist business. So they all work 4%. So if you buy a guide or excursion from one person, he will take small piece for himself, then he will kind of sell you to another person, and this another person can sell you to another person, something like this. So you should be ready for it and understand that it's kind of part of the deal here. But it's also not really a kind of forced thing. You could always say no, you could always ignore it, and then it's kind of all right. It's all right. The good thing about Egyptians in this touristic area, that they are not really greedy. Sometimes they could give you some, for example, they like kids very much. A lot of Egyptians, they like kids, and they could give kids something for free. Yeah, some girls also. Egyptians like girls very much, beautiful girls. So I mean, it's kind of how they do business here. It's not a greed really, but it's kind of part of their style, how they think it should work. When they work with a tourists should overpay to them. It's like they do it. But in general, it's they could be very generous people too. So what else? How they? So yeah, as it's tourist place, their relation to you as a tourist, they see into you, they see possibility to earn something, to earn some money, some resource from you. So you should you should understand it and just take care of yourself and carry on. Another thing, that Egypt, it's Arab country, and a lot of people here, they are Islamic people. There are some Copts who is Orthodox, but also most of the population Islamic. It means that they kind of respect Shariat law. I mean, some of them, they have several, for example, several wives. It's kind of normal thing. You wouldn't meet much women at the works. For example, in our hotel, I saw only 2 women for 10 days who work there. So it's not like in their tradition. Arab women should stay at home with children. it's their point of view. So it's kind of also affects their mentality, because in Russia, the more, I mean, okay, maybe 30 years ago, we also had some patriarchat mentality, but and right now it's also a majority. I think like 60% of people, they also have patriarchat mentality in Russia too, but we do not have multi-wives. But in general, the more it goes in Russia, we respect everyone. I mean, everyone should work. Yeah. Woman and not woman, all must go to work. Yeah. Of course, in Egypt, like in Russia, like in every country, there are a lot of different people. Like some of them, they are not in tourist business. There are architects, there are builders, there are scientists, a lot of people. And as a tourist, I mainly have conversation. I mainly deal with people who in touristic business, because I stay in the hotel or I walk outside to some cities, and I got communication mostly with kind of salesmen. That's why I give my judgment on Egyptians based on my small selection of people, specific people. But in Egypt there are much more other people too, who work in different areas, and they have regular personalities. Like in all countries, they're kind of the same, like regular people who has the same values, most of them. But the thing which I can kind of underlie somewhere, it's still, yeah, there are a lot of tourists and a lot of people, a lot of percent of population. It's concentrated in this area, tourist area. Also, a lot of people, they are, for example, believe in Islam. It means also their relation to women and women rights. I mean, like in all other Islamic countries, it's different from ours. But still, I want to repeat it that what I say here, it's based at my limited communication with just part of population of this country, because it's quite a big country with a lot of people. Another property which I felt, that Egyptians, they are very sensitive people, sensitive in terms of emotions. So actually a lot of stuff here which going on around, it's not verbal, non-verbal. So it's communication by kind of gesture, by your emotion on your face. And it's very different from Russia, because in Russia people, most of them, they have poker face everywhere, every time, everywhere. And a lot of Russians, they are not so not feeling so some small aspects of communication. Actually, it was a funny thing that another funny thing that once I sit in the lobby at the chair, and one person came there with his big family, with like 2 wives, something like this, and some children. And it was just table and several chairs, and he just sit near me without telling me anything, so he just sat there, and that's it. And he started conversation with their people, and it's quite very unusual for Russia, for example, because it's kind of for us it's not it's not polite. it's not polite. You should first ask, can I sit? Is it kind of not occupied, this table? But it seems, like at least some people here, they do something first, and if it's not allowed, they expect you to say it. So I think it's not all people, but at least some of them, how they feel. If they do something and you do not like it, you will say it. Otherwise, they can do it. It's very different from Russian mentality, because in Russia, it's kind of, you always should ask first. You should ask and then do. And here they can first do, and why to ask if nobody said no? So if you come to Egypt, you should be ready to say no. You should be, it's polite here, it's all right. Don't be afraid to say no, don't be afraid to bargain, don't be afraid not to agree, and just ignore people or just walk away. So it's all right, it's how it's doing. It's not impolite here to do something like this. Yeah. At the same time, if you will be rude, or if you will do some bad things, as I said, they are very sensitive, and it's like reflection. If you be impolite, if you will do some stuff which is bad, they could also be bad to you in return. So they do not hesitate to pay you the same coin. It's also not like in Russia, because in Russia, even if someone did something wrong, people will tell him, oh, you made something wrong. But in Egypt, they wouldn't tell you that you made something wrong. They will just act towards you like not in a good way, but they wouldn't teach you something, they wouldn't give you a lesson or something. They wouldn't tell you that it was wrong. Or if you break some rules, I mean literally, like it's not allowed to go to swim in the night, they will tell it for you, of course. But I mean manners or polite things, it's kind of up to you, and you should be always polite. You should be always try to be friendly and smile to people, even if you say no. So it's kind of important feature that Egyptians, I think, what the big difference from Russians is they are more smiling people. They are more emotional, and their good relation toward you will be if you will be friendly and warm towards them. Even if you say no, even if you are kind of satiated with this virgin stuff, still, if you do it with a smile, if you say it, if you deny with a smile, they will kind of have good relation toward you. So it all depends on you here. As we say in Russia, in our film, it's called White Sun of Desert film, Russia cinema. There is a phrase, Восток дело тонкое. East, it means, if you translate it to English, East, it is very narrow deal. It's kind of, East has a lot of small features. So it's how it is here. You should kind of try to feel it. Not to understand it even, but to feel this thing. To feel this vibe.